A Song for Gwendolyn Brooks by Faye Duncan, illustrated by Xia Gordon. Sing a song for Gwendolyn Brooks. Sing it loud, the Chicago blues. Skip to the beat of elevated trains. They grumble, rumble, and roll real fast. The year is 1925. Gwendolyn Brooks is 8 years old. Gray bursts of smoke hide the yellow sun. Can flowers grow without sunlight? Gwendolyn leans on the front yard gate. Gwendolyn is unsure. Sing a song for Gwendolyn Brooks. She greets each day in her velvet glory. Her head is filled with snappy rhymes. She writes her poems in dime store journals. Gwendolyn stands outside the fray. Her classmates cuss, they swish and sass. They joke and jive, they laugh real loud. They boast and bully, they signify. Girls jump rope on cracked sidewalks. Boys play baseball in the streets. Poets own a watchful eye. Gwendolyn stands alone. The busy clock. Clock, clock, tell the time. Tell the time to me. Magic, patient instrument that is never free. Tick-tock, busy clock. You've no time to play. Bustling men and women need you all the day. Sing a song for Gwendolyn Brooks. Her father is a janitor. He buys the food and pays the rent. Mothering is her mama's job. She cooks the food and scrubs the clothes. Baby brother is Gwen's best friend. They play checkers on rainy days. When the sky is blue, Gwendolyn sits with her tattered notebooks. From the top step of her backyard porch, she watches and listens to the South Side neighbors. Women talk about men. Men talk about sports. Children call Gwen, "Oh, stuck-up heifer." Sing a song for Gwendolyn Brooks. Her mother believes. Her father believes. But sometimes Gwendolyn doubts her radiance. When jarring, crashing, discordant words splotch and splatter her notebook paper, and when right words don't crystallize, Gwendolyn grabs her mother's garden trowel. She digs beneath the snowball bush and buries her poems in a backyard grave. Sing a song for Gwendolyn Brooks. She is a student at Forestville School. Miss School Teacher sends a letter home. It reads, "Gwendolyn is a cheat. She plagiarized." Gwendolyn is a cheat? This is not so. Mama grabs her hat, black purse, and gloves. She marches Gwendolyn to the school. Mrs. Brooks defends her precocious child. She says, "Miss School Teacher, I must protest. Gwendolyn does not need to cheat. She writes and speaks with the finest ease. Test her now and we will see." Gwendolyn considers the insulting charge. She writes a poem in proud, prim letters. Forgive and forget. If others neglect you, forget, do not sigh. For after all, they'll select you in times by and by. If their taunts cut and hurt you, they are sure to regret. And if in time they desert you, forgive and forget. Miss Schoolteacher must drop her charge. Gwen steps high on her walk home. Gwen smiles brightly. Gwen believes. And as the sun breaks through gray clouds of smoke, sunlight shines on Gwendolyn's face. Sing a song for Gwendolyn Brooks. Chicago teams with the black sharecroppers from Dixie towns. While jobs are scarce in the Great Depression, migrants slog and scrounge for decent work. Gwen is sweet 16 and 33. She has feathery voice and flickering flame. She gushes and giggles over Shakespeare sonnets. Her parents are wise and see her light. They do not yell, "Go mop the floor." And when high school chums must look for work, Gwendolyn is free to sit and think. Ambition. It hurts so much a lot to see the top and know you're at the base, to know some power holds you back and yet see glory's face. But all true climbers know that they must rise by base degree. And so they keep on climbing till they find that they are free. She learns to labor for the love of words. Draft 1 is shoddy, draft 2 is a thud. Gwen toils to write one poem each day. She deletes, rewrites, and starts again. The simplest verse is a taxing struggle. Draft 3 is better. Draft 4 is best. Her couplets waltz with wonderment. Gwen's confidence is a bud in spring, revised. Revisions make poetry ring. The Chicago Defender welcomes Gwen. Adults read her rhymes in the poetry section. Mr. Brooks proclaims to Mrs. Brooks, "This girl we got is a gifted child." And one special day, Mrs. Brooks declares she will be a poet like Paul Dunbar. Sing a song for Gwendolyn Brooks. Chicago, jazz, bebop, hey! In a South Side center where children play and borrow books, Gwen makes friends with Henry Blakely and 10 black poets. They analyze sonnets with a scrupulous ear. Under Inez Stark, their demanding teacher, they ponder Eliot, Stein, and Pound. Gwen savors her study of the modernist poets. After scribble, scratch, and sun-dry rewrites, alliterations leap from Gwendolyn's page. Her words are poems from a South Side street. They are polished and poised like English silver. Gwen enters her poems in magazine contests. Again and again, she wins first place. The Children of the Poor, Sonnet number 2. What shall I give my children who are poor, who are adjunct the least wise of the land, who are my sweetest lepers, who demand no velvet and no velvety velour, but who have begged me for a brisk contour, crying that they are quasi-contraband, because unfinished, graven by a hand, less than angelic, admirable, or sure. My hand is stuffed with mode, design, device. But I lack access to my proper stone. and plenitude of plan shall not suffice, nor grief nor love shall be enough alone to ratify my little halves who bear across an autumn freezing everywhere. Sing a song for Gwendolyn Brooks. Time rocks and rows at a steady pitch. Gwen graduates college. Gwen marries Henry. Gwen mothers and poets in 1950. Henry works full-time in a shirt and tie. He earns the bread for his wife and son. And on East 63rd at Chaplin, the family rents 2 rooms in a kitchenette building. Gwen's south side view is an urban suite. Pointed church steeples pierce the clouds. Pool room claps, skips school and smoke. 4 and 5 families live in one house. Men walk and run, women sing and shout. 63rd Street is a brown-faced muse. Gwen types her poems in a crowded corner. Click-clack, click-clack. She types. She deletes to type again. Click-clack, click-clack. Readers crowd bookstores. They buy Gwen's book, and she signs her name in a fancy script. Sing a song for Gwendolyn Brooks. She whittles her sonnets with perfect grace, like Edna St. Vincent Millay and Robert Frost. Gwen paints poems with paintbrush words, and Gwen takes home a Pulitzer Prize. With slinky sly and sea-like spunk, Gwen swings the blues with her black pen, like guitar players at Teresa's Lounge. A Pulitzer Prize! A Pulitzer Prize! Henry celebrates Gwen, Jr. too. They shower her with noisy kisses. Gwendolyn's parents cry tears of joy. They praise her shine. They saw it first. Mr. Brooks and Mrs. Brooks planted love and watered it. Gwendolyn believed she found her light. And the furious flower grew. Author's note. No longer walking through rooms, I shall be gone and not gone. Gwendolyn Brooks. Gwendolyn Brooks, 1917 to 2000, was an American poet born in Topeka, Kansas. She lived most of her life on the south side of Chicago, Illinois. Miss Brooks was the first Black writer to win a prestigious Pulitzer Prize. She earned the award in 1950 for her poetry collection, Annie Allen. These poems are wise, witty, and woeful accounts that capture Black feeling in the urban voice. Miss Brooks was a ravenous young reader who scribbled rhymes in school notebooks. Her parents, David and Keziah Brooks, nurtured her creativity, with free time set aside for writing. When David Brooks saw Gwen engaged in a poem, he released her from doing chores. Miss Brooks wrote poems to record her ideas about life and the plight of Black people in her Chicago community. So convinced of her daughter's writing future, Keziah Brooks told her Chicago neighbors often that Gwen would be a famous poet. And in time, Gwendolyn Brooks grew up to write 20 poetry books, 2 autobiographies, and a novel. She married Henry Blakely, Jr. in 1939. He wanted to be a writer too. However, Mr. Blakely sacrificed his ambition to work in the insurance business and care for Gwen and their 2 children, Henry Blakely III and Nora. Gwendolyn Brooks was the 29th Poet Laureate to the Library of Congress. She was Poet Laureate for the state of Illinois from 1968 until 2000, the time of her death. Established writers like Inez Stark Richard Wright and Langston Hughes mentored Gwen during the 1940s. 30 years later, it was Gwendolyn Brooks who shared her knowledge of writing. She mentored Haki Madhubuti and Etheridge Knight, rising young poets from the Black Arts movement. And in a daring act of love, Miss Brooks invited the Blackstone Rangers gang to her Southside workshops, where she gave lectures on composing sonnets, free verse, and couplets. From 1950 to this present day, texts by Gwendolyn Brooks have served as required reading in American schools and colleges. She is famous for her mastery of poetic technique, her commitment to racial identity, and her ability to write poems that bridge a gap between formal verse and the common folk. Some of her most popular poems include Song of the Front Yard, The Bean Eaters, Kitchenette Building, and We Real Cool. Head wraps and round eyeglasses were hallmarks of Gwendolyn's iconic image. The hallmark of her personality was her generosity. Across 5 decades, she used portions of her prize money and book advances to sponsor poetry contests for children and adults. In her lifetime, Gwendolyn Brooks visited Africa and was a noted speaker at American universities. However, Chicago's South Side was her favorite place to live and write. The men, women, and children outside her window inspired her poems. The smells and the sounds from the street put her in a writing mood. Of all these things, she said, that was my material. The end.